Hey everybody, welcome back. I wanted to do a quick tutorial. Is that what you call it if you really don't know what you're doing? Anyway, how I do it on painting 3D parts. And most of you guys probably already know this. Some of you might not. Thought this might be helpful. This is a set of the True Spoke 52s, I think is what they're called. And ironically, they're W51s. But anyway, that can be confusing when you're pulling orders. But this is a set that I used for display. So I only used 2 of each. But I figured this would be a good test subject. I've never painted any of these spokes. But I figured take the wheels and tires off, go through the process. And here are the 3 things that I'll use. I'll take them off first. The first thing I'll use is sandpaper. Then I'll prime them with this, and this is generally what I use for my tire color. Believe it or not, I really like the way this looks, and it looks good on tires. So that's my primer. Then I will use, on your chrome parts, because I'll be using chrome, you'll use a gloss black. To me, a gloss black, whatever. You can't use a enamel. Let's see, how does that work? You can cover lacquer with enamel, but you can't cover enamel with lacquer. I think is how it works. So I wouldn't recommend using an enamel. I think these are lacquers, the AKs. I believe this is all lacquer paint. But anyway, it's something like that. I'll use the black base. I put BB on there because in my drawer, you just see a bunch of white tops. So I'll put chrome, brass, black base. So in my humble opinion, this is the best gloss black paint ever. I've never sprayed it on anything except to cover it with chrome. But let me tell you what, this is some very, very good black paint. It comes pre-mixed. This AK stuff, everything that I have at least comes pre-mixed. It's ready to spray after you shake it. And then I'll use the AK chrome. There's many different chrome manufacturers, and I've got several. I've got the Green Stuff World. I've got what's that one? Alclad. I've got Alclad Chrome. I have AK Super Chrome. I've got Molotov, and I've even got, where is it? Right here. That stuff's good too. Spaz, Sticks, Mirror Chrome. But what I use the most of is the AK, and that's what I'm going to use on this. So what I'm going to do is show you. Some people I've had questions like, how do I remove this stuff from the supports? Typically, if it's a larger part like a wheel or a tire, you can just pop them right off. When you get into some of the trim rings, when they're kind of small, you may want to be a little more careful. You can take your hobby knife, which I got over here somewhere. Take your hobby knife and you can just pop those things. Just go through there and pop them loose. Just be careful not to torque the part too much, because resin is more brittle than styrene. But you just go through there and you can just pop them off. If you get the majority of them off, then you can typically just go ahead and I like put my whole thumb in there. I don't just like grab one piece because I might break it. Take something, give it all the support, pop it right off. It will leave some. Just knock them off. On the tires, they'll just pop off. You can get those supports cleaned off afterwards. You can't see a darn thing I'm doing. So they generally just crumble right off, and there's some center caps that I'll be using and painting. And this is a bigger ring, so it just pops off. A lot of times they'll break off there, or they'll break off on the part, but if not, they just come right off. There doesn't leave much at all left on there. You just take your finger and just roll around it. Then I'll take it, sand that. That's very easy too. It just doesn't leave much of anything. This will be the first set of these I've painted. I've sold a bunch of them. I've never used any. All right, so that's all off of there. And let's see, what shall we? I'll go with the 600. Where's it at? Last one for sure. So on the back side, it's got a little, you can barely see them there. Just sand them right off. I've heard that resin dust is not good to breathe, so if you're really fogging it out with the dust, you want to be in a better ventilated place. This isn't going to really create any dust to speak of. So just sand them like that. And then there may be some where the supports were on the tire. There's a couple right there, you can see them. Same thing, just knock it off. So there's one. Get them all cleaned up. The rims are even easier because generally the only place that you have a contact point is on the flat portion of the rim, and you can just run it across just clean the bottom of it. All right, oh, there's one little spot. On the rims, oh, I'm sorry, wheels, Matthew, they're not rims. Let me grab a flat one here. Oh, there it is. So I like these. These are more stiff, and if you have like a flat part, like an oil pan or a cylinder head or valve cover, these are better because these are soft. They'll sink down. You'll get a uneven sanding. So like that one's done. Yeah, the really thin trim rings is pretty much the only thing you really got to be careful with. They are just more fragile. All right, everything else I think is good to go. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna cut the camera, blow these off, take them outside, blow them off. I'll be right back. All right, got them all cleaned. So typically got my gloves on. Typically what I do to attach these to something to paint them, I have seen people glue them down, paint, or put them on a piece of tape. I don't do that because then you got to paint the other side, and I don't know, I just don't do that. So I buy these hors d'oeuvre toothpicks. They have a fairly flat end on them. You can use a regular toothpick and just cut the end off or whatever, but this is what I do to paint this stuff. Take a little bit of super glue, put a little dab of super glue on it like that, and then I'll take it and put it in at an angle. And luckily these have raised ribs, so you have a lower spot, so you won't have to worry about the super glue having to be scraped out of there. Just take that thing and just hold it there for a second, and let's see how quick this glue sticks. There we go. So now take two. That wasn't long enough. A little bit more glue. That way you have a little handle. You don't want that happening while you're painting it, so you want to make sure it's in there good. All right, where was it at? Right there. I do have accelerator here, so I can put a little accelerator in there and get this thing accelerated. Come on, stay in there. This is for a video, for heaven's sake. Yeah, Matthew, you're making this look really easy. I'm trying to look through a camera, and it does make things more difficult. Now, if that would just stay there, I would be able to put some accelerator. The glue's acting like oil. All right, here we go. I got these little things with the needle tip. I got a full We finna pour it to it. All right, put it right there. Get it where you want it. Hold it, hold it, hold it. All right. I think that one's going to stay. I won't touch it. But anyway, the thing is now you've got a place to hold it. You can paint around that toothpick. All right, there's one. And the second tire does not have the ribs. I didn't realize that. So you have to, if your super glue doesn't all break off, you have to get in there and kind of clean that up. Because they're pretty much a machine fit. There's not a lot of tolerance. Oh, better not use the accelerator for glue. Yeah, there's not much tolerance. So we'll give this a shot. I like to paint, yeah, and I make sure that the finished edge is away from the toothpick. I didn't do it on that one. I don't know if I got it right or not. All right, put that in there. A little bit of accelerator here. Oh, there's number 2. And now it's different for the trim rings, because you just don't have anything but that flat edge. So that's fine. We're going to go around the flat edge, because luckily that flat edge, even with paint on it, is easily cleaned up. Go right there. Right there. And I've never had a problem once that accelerator evaporates. Never had a problem with it reacting with the paint or anything like that. But you could tape these down if you wanted to. I don't, because when I'm painting, I'm steady turning this thing in my finger so I get a nice even coat. Although it's, you have to do your hand like a crankshaft. Let's see. See if I can keep it. No. There ain't no way. But anyway, you know what I'm saying. It gives you a nice nice way to hold it and get a full cover of paint on it with the ability to spin it. I've found that works for me. You do what works for you. You do what you like, and I'll do what I like. All right, last one right there. I do have people ask me, how do you attach a resin wheel to a model kit? Because they don't, like this. Actually, yeah, that's the back of the wheel. They're kind of just universal. There's not a real good way to do it. And I'm going to use for these, let's see, what have I got here? Oh, I got some of these. I got these little scraper things. Those are good for like scraping, pushing, and then it's pointed on one end. But I've got some that are open, I think. Where are they? Maybe not. Thought I did. Oh, you know what? I think they're over here. Or maybe not. I don't know where they're at. I'm going to have to open a pack up, I guess. Okay, no problem. That's what I bought them for. These will go, I think these will work for the main part of the wheel. You can just take this right here, stick it in there, and kind of twist it, get it stuck. There you go. And what I was talking about, mounting them to a kit, is I will take a round piece of styrene, about the size of that hole there. I mean, if you can get a piece that goes in the hole, that's even better. But something that's close to that. And I'll just make an adapter, right? Just an adapter. You're going to have to glue them on there. I mean, they're not going to spin or anything unless you can figure that out. That's what I do. I've even taken a piece of sprue. For instance, I use this sprue. I got some nice straight pieces of sprue, and I'll save these. I'll glue them on bodies and things when I paint them. But you can take a piece of sprue. You don't have to have round styrene. This is round styrene, but just take that sprue, glue it in there. If you have a little bit bigger piece, be better probably. Glue it in there, make you a little, somewhat of a hub. That's how I adapt mine. And seems to work good. I see a place right there I need to hit. Should have test fitted these first. Let me go back. Test fit the wheels in the rims. I'm sorry, the wheels into the tires before painting. We're just gonna hope that everything was good, which I guess you only gotta, if these are smooth, these fit well, very, very well. These are Z-Force Model Works design wheels. You know what's crazy? That's really strong. And it's still relying just on the spokes for the strength. Just like a bicycle. You would think there's just little pieces of wire. Why doesn't that thing collapse? It's because they're all pressing against one another. It's an even force. But yeah, even putting that in there and I'm pushing it hard, those little spokes are strong. Even made out of resin, they're strong. All right, and 2 more toothpicks for the little wheel caps. And then we'll shoot some primer on these bad boys. Just a little. Come on. Right, there's one. Put it right there. Just like that. And do I need accelerator? Maybe not. Lay it across right here. And then we'll do that one. I don't typically wash my 3D printed parts. You can if you want to. If you've handled it with nasty hands or something, maybe. But when I clean my parts, they go through a 3-stage alcohol bath. And they come out, well, alcohol's a pretty good cleaner, so you can imagine they're pretty darn clean. So unless you've contaminated them, possibly, you shouldn't have any problems. But if you want to wash them, I was talking to my friend Mark Batson. He said he always washes his parts, his resin parts and everything else. All right, I'm gonna give these just a few minutes for the accelerator to evaporate, and then we'll get over here and put some primer on them. Okay, got them all clean. So I pre-thin I put a T on there so I know it's thinned. I pre-thin this stuff. When I get an empty bottle, then I'll take and fill it halfway with, thinner, and halfway with paint from another bottle, so I'll have a thinned full bottle. This stuff goes a long way too. All right, so I will paint everything primer black, and I'll probably leave the tires at that. I'm not going to filter all this, but I'm just going to fill my cup up on my airbrush. I spray the primer knob. Everything I spray is pretty much 20 psi except the metals, aka the chrome. I'm going to drop it down to 10 psi, and we'll spray that. That stuff can be a little challenging. I had plenty of problems when I first started. I'm going to start the vacuum cleaner, but I'm going to leave the camera going and we'll spray these. Here we go. in the incubator for I don't know how long, till they were dry. And I really like, it's hard to tell in this light, to be honest with you. I like this black on tires. I think it looks jam up. But we may not paint the tires again, but I'm going to paint all the chrome stuff now. And that black base, AK 471 black base. Give her a good shaking. Get a new pipette. There's a mosquito in here. Okay, that would be good. I'm about to kill that mosquito. Alright. I spray this at 20 psi. I don't spray this at 10. So I do paint this just like any other paint. But when you come to the metal chrome paint, I'll back it down to 10 psi. Alright, so we're gonna, maybe that mosquito gets sucked into the vacuum cleaner. Here we go. Everything's ready to go. So got these. Got these all glossed up. You got to use the gloss black base on most of these paints. I think that darn mosquito's back. I think the AK Super Chrome you don't, and the Revell Chrome, which I've never tried that. I don't think you have to have a black base, but for this stuff, you have to have a gloss black base, or the chrome is not going to be shiny. So I got my air pressure down to 10 psi, which is just, I think, yeah. Yep, 10 psi there. Just barely enough to, I've already shaken this, so just barely enough to spray this stuff out. Because you don't fog, I mean, you don't just spray this on like regular paint. You mist it. Doesn't take much. You just mist it on there, and then firstly, it won't look real gloss, or it won't look shiny. So you think, well, I need to add some more. No, that's when you wait, and that paint, those little molecules start to move. You can see them moving, and then it will just gloss over. So hopefully that will happen here like it's supposed to. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna turn on the thing again. just cleaned the airbrush and got everything turned off. The reason I was holding those up to the camera a while ago is because when you first shoot it, it is not shiny. And it just starts to gloss or shine. I guess being it's chrome, it don't gloss, it just shines. But you can't overdo it with the paint. But once it starts to dry and you haven't put too much on there, it just shines, you know. Now you can't really handle this stuff. So when you assemble these things, you would want to use gloves. You don't want to get the oil from your skin on any of that. So I'm going to let this finish drying. This stuff dries really fast. And when it's dry, we'll come back, we'll put them together, see how they look. I'm curious because I haven't put a set of these together yet. All right, everything's nice and dry now. New set of gloves. So I don't want to touch the chrome with my bare hands. So see if this will pop off without leaving any. Nope, I see a little bit in there. So what I'll do is just take my knife. The other one won't have a problem. I don't want to I don't want to scrape that where anything will show. Just take the tip of your knife, get in there and pop that out. Should be good. Well, that one came off easy. Shoot, I'm glad that didn't fall off while I was painting it. I think that black is really nice for tires. Really nice. I know that there are, you know, rubber black. To me, it has rubber black. As a matter of fact, MCW has, it's called grimy black. And I wrote on their tires. But they have that in the enamel. So grimy black, that would be a tire color. But I just, that Mr. Hobby stuff is so nice. These have turned out really good. Hopefully, since I didn't pre-fit anything, that it fits. This is easy cleanup here because it's on that flat side. That flat side will never be seen. And this side will never be seen. So if you angle your knife, keep it angled this way. Get that off of there. You'll never see that. Okay, and the two center caps. Pop them off. Some of the, you know, some wheel sets aren't separate rings. They're just one piece. Makes things easier. You don't have to worry about painting a separate trim ring. But sometimes guys will accent a trim ring different than the main part of the wheel. And that's nice. You can paint the wheel black and you can accent this with chrome or something like that. So that is an advantage. Trying to see which side of the tire was the, okay, so this is, you can still see some hints of the supports. Now we got two different, okay, this is it. So this should just slide up in there. Now with paint on it. And take the large trim ring. Get it right in there. Oh man, that looks good. Yeah, these are nice. Too bad I didn't do a whole set, which I could do two more and use them on something, because I'd like to build something with these wheels. They've been a popular wheel. A lot of people have really liked these. And then the center caps. I'm not going to glue them in, but I'll just put them up. That looks good. That looks really good. I mean, you could paint the center cap red or something, you know? That would look nice. So, if you've been afraid of using 3D printed stuff, it's nothing to it. Nothing to it. It turned out really nice. Wow. Yeah, really cool. I think these are like 18s and maybe 20s or 19s and 22s or something like that, but the front wheel diameter is smaller than the rear. And I did paint the rear, but it was just so, when you know, you wouldn't want to be, if this is an aluminum wheel or whatever, or chrome, you know, the backside would be too. So that's when it did that. But anyway, very cool. I actually built something. Yeah, very happy with that. Very nice. I'm glad that I finally got to paint a set of these spokes too. I like them. All right, guys. Well, that's it. Just wanted to do a quick video. Maybe you haven't ever messed with 3D printed wheel sets. The engines are equally as, in my opinion, they're as easy to build as a kit engine. There's something right on there. Did I drop that thing? Like, this is the engine that I plan on using in my 36. It's 4 Weber's small block. But they're not, many times these are better than the kit engines because they fit so much better. So don't be afraid of 3D printed stuff. Getting the stuff off the supports, it's easy. I try to put my supports where it makes it the easiest to get get things off. For example, on the transmission, see it has transmission linkages, and I put a minimal amount of supports around those linkages because those are the kind of things that would break when you just popped it off. So I try to intentionally do that, so yeah, it don't break. Yeah, these are 3D printing stuff has really changed the modeling world. But other than that, guys, thanks for watching. I do appreciate it. Hope you learned something. Hope I didn't bore you. And yeah, thanks to you all for all you do. Appreciate you. Don't forget, as always, go check out hobbynutmodels.com. It's always linked in the description of the video. Go click on the description. And it is down there. Also, someone recently asked me about t-shirts. I don't ever mention that, but the Teespring store is also in the description of the video. You can go there and click on the Spring store, and it will take you over. And I have t-shirts and coffee mugs and stickers and hoodies and sweatshirts and stuff like that. So you can check that out. But anyway, those are model car videos specifically, not MCV products. But I do appreciate you guys. Don't forget, as always, go check out mcvproducts.net, where you can get you some of these True Spoke 52s, which are a W51. If you want to go over there and check them out, you can go in the search bar, put W51, and those will come up. And this is a E36 small block Ford with Weber's and 2 sets of headers and a T10 manual transmission. Anyway, all right, guys, thanks for watching. I do appreciate you all. Take care. See you later. Bye.